Senator Lombardi.
Before we do that, Mike, can I ask you a couple of questions as legal counsel?
Sure.
When was the tax treaty signed?
Oh, I have it right here.
November 2016.
There you go. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, and was there a, if I may, was there a, what was, I'm going to say it in the vernacular, what was the rush to sign this tax treaty so quickly? I remember being here in a room full of people.
I do too.
And the entire town was against, this was, you know, Invenergy was against motherhood and apple pie. And we have a tax treaty signed. So I'm just curious what happened.
Well, I'll explain it to you, and I'll give you the 30,000-foot view.
Thank you.
When the power plant was announced, because the council either appoints or hires members of the zoning, planning, tax department, and building department, we tried and did remain neutral during this process until those advisory opinions were submitted back in August, maybe? And then the council came out with a statement against the power plant. The tax treaty, knowing that we were going to have to fight the way we're fighting now, it was important that we have this tax treaty done because it included prepayments which totaled $1,150,000, not 1.5, that the Invenergy would have to pay the town whether or not the plant was built. So that was the money that we were going to use as a council to fight this power plant. So we approved, we have voted.
Can I just ask you that? So you accepted the money from Invenergy so you could fight Invenergy?
Absolutely. Absolutely. So consequently, we actually did negotiate. It took a better part of a year to negotiate the tax treaty we came out with. If you look it up, I can send it to you. It's a strong document. Mr. McElroy helped us do that. It's very beneficial to the town. I hope we never have to use it. It included those prepayments, and we knew that when we got to this point where we'd fight Invenergy, there was no way we were going to get Invenergy to the table and give us the tax treaty that we ended up with.
Senator Lombardi.
I'm sorry, Mike, has this ever happened before? In your history, have you ever?
Treaties?
No. I know tax treaties have happened before, but tax treaties specifically in anticipation of fighting the very entity that's providing you the money on the
I'm not aware that that has specifically happened before, but in this particular case, we were given the opportunity to use these funds to do exactly that. We made no bones about it. We had public hearings on this, a number of public hearings. I explained that I was in support of doing this so that we could do exactly that. And when we received the money, the town council made it very clear to the town manager that that money was to be earmarked only to fight the plant, and that's what it's been used for.
I got to tell you, Invenergy must, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, Senator Lombardi. Senator Nesselbush.
Are you done, Senator Lombardi? I don't need to
I
interrupt.
just got to say, I'd be pretty damn confident if I'm going to give you $1 million of my money so that you can fight me over something. It's really.
They are very confident. They are, frankly, they're a bully. They're a multi-billion-dollar international organization that thought they could roll over the little town of Burrillville. Turns out that so far they've been wrong.
Senator Nesselbush.
Just to be clear, so did Invenergy know when signing this tax treaty that would give the town some money even before the siting board ever made a decision that you would use that to fight them?
Yes, we never hid that.
Sounds kind of ingenious to me.
We thought so.
Go ahead. You can continue.
Okay.
I got a question.
So
Senator, I apologize. Senator Archambault has a question.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Let's just go back for 1 second, and maybe this is more of a rhetorical statement than a question, but I think I know what you're going to say. Now, why would Invenergy give you the money to fight them? This has been asked, but I want to ask it my way. I want to hear what your response is to it.
But you'd have to ask them. I can't speak for them. I don't know. It was part of the deal we negotiated with these prepayments.
Well, if you think about it, right, they need the treaty, right?
Not necessarily.
Why wouldn't they need the treaty? They need the treaty.
Not necessarily. We have Senate Bill 714 that
they need the treaty. You can move on, but that's the point I want to make to you. They need the treaty. Go ahead.
Senator Lombardi.
I'm sorry, and I don't mean to, but I've just been grouchy all day.
That's all right.
They do need the treaty, because 714 would expose them to full tax. At least, and I respect Mike. I've known Mike a long time, and I read the lady that said we're blinded sometimes. I'm not blinded. I read everything, and I actually highlight what you say and everything, Mike. And this treaty is necessary because if there is an entity that can be taxed, according to Mike's opinion, it's clearly going to be Invenergy. It may not be Ocean State because of the time frame when they bought the property. Is that a fair assessment?
Yes.
Okay. So a treaty is absolutely necessary. I agree with Senator Chabot 100%. A treaty is absolutely necessary for the good of Invenergy, as opposed to paying the entire tax that they would pay the town
I
of
would agree
Burrillville.
with that also.
Okay.
That's Senate Bill 714. It had its nexus. When I was elected to council in 2012, we were stuck in litigation with Ocean State Power concerning just that. The pilot had run out, and we value the plant. They fight it, and we did that for 3, maybe 4 years.
For almost 5 years.
It was very expensive for the town. It was very frustrating. So we need to, we've asked for this legislation. This is our second year now. We'd like to see that loophole closed just to protect us. And I agree that we needed a tax treaty.
Senator
However,
Chabot.
today,
Well,
for us to try and get
let me
the tax
interrupt you
treaty,
for a
it
minute.
would be difficult.
Let me interrupt you for a minute. I think everybody in the room and all the residents really, and Senator Fogey doesn't need me to praise him because he's an incredibly humble guy, but he's been lobbying for the town on this issue like nobody's business.
I
And if anybody
absolutely
needs some
believe it.
praise, it's the guy sitting stalwartly on the side over there.
Absolutely.
He's the praise, and that needs to be pointed out. He's so humble he won't say it himself.
That's why I'm here. I'm backing him up. Okay. So yes, 714 is very important to the town of Burrillville. We'd like to see that passed if we could. I just want to comment real quick on Senate Bill 756. Jerry Elmer did a nice job explaining that. But I don't believe, other than maybe Mr. McElroy and Mr. Elmer, anybody has seen or been through as much testimony as I have concerning this subject. And I just saw today an email from the Rhode Island Department of Environmental Management that their supplemental advisory opinions that the siting board asked them for, they are going to be late if they can even supply them, because the information they're asking Invenergy for from March and April, they haven't gotten yet. So this legislation would just essentially make the applicant supply the information timely and correctly and accurately. That's all this would do. Because right now we have all insufficient advisory opinions. All 12 of them have been that way. Now, as far as Senate Bill 769, we're not asking this to be retroactive to Invenergy in this process. This process is already in motion. We would never think to do that as a council. However, as a council, going through this process for the last almost two years now, it has been painful for the town and the council, and it has been very, very expensive. There are two key things in this legislation, at least in the council's mind, is those two local people added to the siting board. Now, the siting board would still contain 5 members, so there are only 2 voices of 5. It doesn't give them a majority, it just gives the town that's being affected a seat at the table and a voice, and it'd make these people here feel a lot better if they knew Mr. Roselli was sitting at that table at the siting board. Not that they would change, it would help with the optics. The second biggest thing I see with this is the expense. The town of Burrillville has spent well over $500,000 already. We're not getting reimbursed for all of it. We have a tax treaty, so that helps. But if we didn't, what if it was another town? What if it was a town that didn't have the resources that the town of Burrillville has? We feel that the applicant should be responsible to pay the expenses of the town that they want to move into. That's the least they could do. So those are the 2 big issues, at least with the council. And the last thing I want to mention is that if the Senate or the House decided on their own, for whatever reason, that they wanted to rewrite that Siting Act like we did for 769, you'd probably hire this gentleman here. This is the guy who would do it. He's one of the top 10 energy lawyers in the country. He went through this thing with a fine-tooth comb. They really can't get any better than it is.
Any lawyer that can get inside that.
This gentleman has done a great job.
I will tell you about 3 o'clock tomorrow morning, I'm going to wake up and shake my head because I'm completely at a loss to explain all this.
Mr. McElroy, good evening and welcome.